We are dirt track racing for the second week in a row here in the AST Voltson Super Trucks as the series makes its return to the Terre Haute action track. A much anticipated race that has seen high car counts in each of the past two seasons. This time around we have 32 trucks that have showed up to the Indiana dirt track. That's only one truck less than we saw at Michigan International Speedway in May. However, only 29 of them will be taking the start here today, and with this being the second to last race of the season, the championship title contenders do not have the option of being one of those three DNQs. Earning the pole award is John Bennett in the 58, who sits second in the standings coming into today's race, and on his outside is Kathy Gargalock in the 30. These two drivers are exempt from the heats, and in order to determine who will be joining them in the feature, we move on to heat number 1, where Nancy Keith and Brian Kelly will lead the field to the start. And right behind them, it's an all-operation JM Road 2 with Jason Miller and Danny Vigo. Miller and his team have of course raced at this track for many years, and him and his two teammates are definitely some of the crowd favorites in the race here today. Trying to go for the lead on Keith, Miller is, but he's not able to get alongside her on the first lap. Coming to take the green, Samantha Spires reports to the pits with unknown issues on the 87 truck, and with only 10 laps in this heat, there will not be enough time for her to get those problems resolved. Spires is done for the weekend already. It's a big shame for the 87 team. Jason Miller now finds himself in the outside lane and unable to find his way back down to the bottom. He is losing positions very quickly and dropping down the order like a rock. It would be an absolute disaster if Miller were to fail to qualify for his home race. But back at the front we have a battle for the lead. Hunter Blaze has worked his way up into second, and through turns 3 and 4 he's going to sweep around Nancy Keith for the lead. Blaze made that look easy, and now the 71 truck is at the head of the field. And back in the midfield we have a little bit of contact between Chris Washer and Chase Eberhardt. Eberhardt tried to cut off the 96. He must have thought he was clear when they were 3 wide with Miller, but fortunately no accident occurs as a result. Everyone continues on. At the back of the field we're seeing a lot of hard racing between Mary Brousseau, Adam Ramirez, and Jason Miller. These drivers are all trying to stay in front of Daniela Jacobson and retain their transfer spots. Jacobson, the only truck on track who isn't set to make the feature at this point. But back at the front, Nancy Keith has not let Hunter Blaze get away and is trying everything she can to take back the lead. These two are solidly in the feature at this point. There's no need for her to go for the win, but that's certainly not stopping her from trying. As they take the white flag, Keith is still right on the bumper of Blaze as they head through turns 1 and 2. 71 truck facing a lot of pressure, but doing a good job at keeping his composure. And through the final turn, Keith is making a move to the inside, and she's going to pull up alongside the 71. They are drag racing to the line. This one's going to be close, and the winner is Blaze. The 71 truck edges out the 18 by about 1.5 feet at the line. That was a very exciting end to our first heat race, and hopefully a sign of things to come in the feature. Chris Washer finishes in 3rd with Chase Eberhardt coming home in 4th. In 5th is Brian Kelly, with Wilson Timothy, his teammate, right behind him in 6th. Mary Brousseau finishes in 7th, Adam Ramirez 8th, Alex DeFranco 9th. Jason Miller and Danny Vigo get 10th and 11th, so not a very good heat race for those two, but they are still in the feature. Rachel Kowalczyk in 12th and Ronald Way in 13th. The last driver to transfer, Daniela Jacobson, was not able to find her way around the 69, and as Samantha Spires once again was unable to take the start due to mechanical issues on the 87 truck. Moving on to heat race number 2, where Nick Moss and Jeffrey Jackson will make up the front row, and it's a fantastic start for Moss in the 74, and right behind him there's 4 wide for second into turn 1. That did not take long. Michael McKinley from row 3 goes to the inside of Camden Rhodes and picks up 3 positions right off the bat, and now he's going for the lead in turn 3. Michael McKinley in the 99M truck started the race in 5th, and by the end of lap 1 has already found himself at the head of the field. He has won this race the past 2 seasons in a row, and it's no surprise why, with a fantastic move like that. Amberly Weiss is going to move herself into 2nd place the next lap with a move to the inside of the 74 truck, but Moss doesn't want to go any farther down the order than that. He actually makes a little bit of contact with Weiss's quarter panel in turn 2, roughing her up just a little bit, and the 74 truck is going to sweep back into the 2nd position. Camden Rhodes is settled into 4th, and right behind him in 5th is Brianna Prinzhorn in the 7. Prinzhorn started this heat from the last position on the grid, but has already moved her way up into the top 5, although she's going to lose that spot to Riley Durbin. A fantastic start to this race for Prinzhorn, who is determined not to miss another race this season. At the other end of the field, we have John White holding the last position on track. He has been running there since the start as we are approaching the finish quickly. This is only a 10-lap heat race, we remind you. But he's going to get around Jeffrey Jackson, and with only 2 laps to go, sweep around Zach Churchill to put himself in a transfer spot. And look right in front of him, he's now going for the position on Daryl Quick in the 82. Quick, now the last truck in the transfer zone, it will be a disaster for him if the points leader were to miss this race. Churchill coming at him for the spot off the corner, but Quick is going to get the run off the turn and hold him off. In the meantime, Michael McKinley would go unchallenged for the final 9 laps of the race, and the Hoosier from Bloomington is going to take the checkered flag in the second heat of the day. McKinley has yet to lose a race at this track in the Voltson Super Trucks. Nick Moss finishes in second with Amberly Weiss right behind him in third. Riley Durbin is in fourth with Jenny Jackson fifth, Juan Cortez sixth. Kevin Thompson, the driver third in the standings, is in seventh. Archer Helms 8th, Camden Rhodes fell back to 9th, Brianna Princehorn fell back to 10th, John White moved his way up into 11th, with Lester McPhail in 12th, and once again, your points leader Daryl Quick barely makes the race with a 13th place finish, and failing to qualify we have Zach Churchill and Jeffrey Jackson. Churchill has one of the best average finishes in the series, but this is his 3rd DNQ of the year, and Jackson will not be going home, as he was the fastest qualifier who failed to transfer by finishing position. The 500 truck will be rounding on the starting field for the feature. We now move on to the highlight coverage of the feature race from here at Terre Haute. 50 laps contested among 29 trucks, and John Bennett is the one leading them all to the start. He gets a good start over Kathy Gargalock, and look right behind him again. It's 4 wide right out of the gate, just like in heat number 2. This time it's Nancy Keith who makes the move from 5th. Oh, she actually made contact with Chris Washer, who's going to the inside from 7th to move all the way up into 2nd. If he can complete this pass, they're rubbing doors between the 71 and the 30, but otherwise they've kept it clean, and Washer moves up into the 2nd position. You thought that move from McKinley at the start of Heat 2 was impressive. Well, how about that move from Washer, the 16-year-old? And the action is just as frantic throughout the rest of the field. Camden Rhodes makes contact with Archer Helms, and now he gets together with his teammate Danny Vigo and gets sent around in turn 3. He takes Archer Helms up into the wall with him, bringing out the first caution of the race. Last week's winner in trouble very early on in the going. Lester McPhail also spun as a reaction to the 62 spinning up the track. Here's a look at the aerial shot. There's the 62 on the outside line getting together with the 153 and pushing himself down towards Vigo. And on the inside of all of them, Rachel Kowalczyk was pushing up the track at the same time, and there was just no way that all 4 of them were going to get through the corner without something giving, and unfortunately for Rhodes, that something happened to be his truck. Under caution, Jenny Jackson tries to report to the pit lane with an unknown issue, and Ronald Way is apparently not aware of this, as the 501 gets turned around momentarily. Archer Helms also going into the pits. Neither of these drivers will return to the track, and unfortunately for the both of them, their days are over early. John Bennett leads the field back to the restart. The MIS winner proved last week at DuQuoin that he also has the capability to get the job done on the dirt tracks when he finished 2nd to Camden Rhodes, and right behind him, the battle for 2nd is on. Nancy Keith goes to the inside of Chris Washer into turn 3, and Chase Everhart's trying to follow her through, giving the 18 a little bit of a bump, but Keith is going to hold off Everhart for now, and soon afterwards she's going to go for the lead on the 58. Keith has never won a race in her AST Voltson Super Trucks career, but she's finished 2nd multiple times, the most recent of which came at Michigan International Speedway this season, where, as I just mentioned, Bennett was the winner. The 18 and the 58 battled each other for the majority of that race until Bennett emerged victorious, but it's Keith who has the upper hand this time around as she clears the 58 for the lead. Also following her past Bennett are Chase Everhart and Michael McKinley. McKinley, as we mentioned, is searching for his 3rd consecutive victory at this track, which would be the 6th of his career, and now Everhart's making a move underneath the 18 for the top spot himself. Everhart himself has 1 victory to his name in this series, which came 2 summers ago at Kalamazoo Speedway, so it's been quite a while since Everhart has seen victory lane, and now he moves around the 18 to take over the top spot. Towards the back of the field, we have Alex DeFranco in the 95, running dead last on track, and the engine lets go while he's doing so a bad day gets worse for the 95 truck, and that's a big disappointment for the Midwest Motors team. DeFranco's going to drop out of the race as a result. Jason Miller in truck number 40 has been on the move since the restart. He started the race from the 21st position, but clearly seems to feel that the hometown crowd deserves much more than that, as he has been working his way towards the front. Now getting around John Bennett, he just cleared Amberly Weiss and Ronald Way in the previous lap, and now he finds himself running in the top 5. Miller led many laps in this race last year before finishing in 4th, trying to better that this year. And Michael McKinley now trying to go for 2nd on Nancy Keith, making quick work of the 18 truck, and now setting his sights on the 91 further down the track. Eberhard has opened up a bit of a lead at this point, and over the next few laps he actually continues to extend his lead over the 99M. A bit of a surprise to some, considering that Eberhard has not been very good at finishing races lately, often finishing far worse than he's qualified, but that doesn't appear to be the case here today. Another driver working her way towards the front is the 402 truck of Rachel Kowalczyk. The native of Sarnia, Ontario, has been running mostly dirt tracks in this series for the past few years, but whenever she has showed up, she's usually performed very well. She is coming off of a top 10 finish last week at DuQuoin, and in fact has a number of top 10s to her name despite her limited number of starts. She gets around Jason Miller to take over the 4th spot, and only moments later takes 3rd away from Nancy Keith. So Kowalczyk, having one of the best races of her career, as she now begins to run down the 99M of Michael McKinley, leaving Keith and Miller to do battle with each other and Mary Brousseau. A lot of very close and very exciting racing going on throughout the field. That has been typical of this racetrack for the past few years, at least in this series. The Southern Indiana race fans most certainly getting their money's worth. Hunter Blaze now is the next driver to dispatch Nancy Keith in the 18, as he has been slowly working his way back towards the front. He fell back a little bit after the start and the restart, but once again has begun to work his way back forward. As we take a look at the flyby cam down the backstretch, there goes Chase Eberhard, the leader, as he has continued to extend his lead over Michael McKinley. Kowalczyk still runs 3rd, and everybody else is in rather close proximity to each other. Once again, no shortage of action here at the action track, especially in the midfield, where John Bennett can be found. Despite starting from the pole position and leading the first handful of laps, Bennett has been in a free fall ever since he lost the lead to Nancy Keith, continuing to lose positions, and this is most certainly not going to do his title hopes any good. Running at the back with him is Kevin Thompson, who's 3rd in points, Danny Vigo, one of the hometown racers, and Juan Cortez, yet another Terre Haute racer. So a lot of drivers at the back of the field that we really didn't expect to be there. Back at the front, Hunter Blaze is going to take the 4th position from Jason Miller as the 71 clears the 40 off of turn number 2. And now moments later, he's pressuring Rachel Kowalczyk for the 3rd spot, but he slips up in turn 3 just a little bit, allowing Kowalczyk to get away. Blaze is having another very good run, just as he did last week at DuQuoin, where he picked up many positions to finish 4th. And with Blaze no longer putting on the pressure, at least for the time being, Kowalczyk can focus on making the move on Michael McKinley. She goes to the inside and takes the 2nd spot from him. McKinley wasn't really able to put a dent in Eberhard's lead. You saw the 91 go flying by, and just how far ahead he's pulled away from these drivers. It's quite rare to see McKinley getting passed by another car for position at Terre Haute, but it's not over for him yet, as Blaze now moves around him and into the 3rd spot. It really should speak as to how well McKinley has done at this track historically, when we are speaking with concern about the fact that he's fallen to 4th. But I digress. Blaze is now in 3rd, and Eberhard is still running away with the lead. The 91 team has experienced mixed results at this track for the past 2 years. In 2014 they finished in 5th, but last year they finished 26th, and that was without experiencing any troubles throughout the race. So in that sense, it's a bit of a surprise to see him doing so well, but he's definitely impressing so far. Daryl Quick has managed to work his way up into the midfield. He finds himself running there with Wilson Timothy and Kevin Thompson, some fellow points contenders. And speaking of points contenders, if you're wondering where John Bennett is, he is currently in the 23rd position. He has not recovered at all after falling through the field by about the halfway point. And looking at the flyby camera, Nancy Keith is running in 26th, the last car on track, after leading laps early on at the going. So these are 2 of the biggest drop-offs that I have seen in a while. 2 drivers who led laps in the early stages now are 2 of the last cars on track. As we got a battle for 2nd between Hunter Blaze and Rachel Kowalczyk, the 71 has slowly been reeling Kowalczyk back in, and on the inside of turns 1 and 2, he made the move for the spot, completing it on the other end of the speedway. Blaze now sets his sights on Eberhard and is actually beginning to reel him in slowly but surely. Looking at the 91 go by and now the rest of the field, you could see just how much his lead has shrunk in such a short duration of time. The 71 truck seemingly only getting faster as the race goes on. Michael McKinley has not been able to hold on to the 4th position. He's lost a few more spots to Mary Brousseau, Brian Kelly, and Jason Miller, and is now about to lose another one to Nick Moss. Moss started the race from 6th, fell quite a ways back after the first restart, but has recovered very well at this point, moving around the 99M. Wilson Timothy finds himself just outside the top 10 and only right in front of the points leader Daryl Quick, and running right behind them are Kevin Thompson and Camden Rhodes, 2 other title contenders. So it doesn't look like anyone's going to be gaining or losing much on Quick, at least not among these 4 drivers. As Mary Brousseau gets around Rachel Kowalczyk to take the 3rd position away, Brousseau, driving for Curtis Sawyers Racing, another one of the Terre Haute-based teams, has been having a very good race of her own. And further down the track, Hunter Blaze is continuing to gain ground on Eberhardt. Blaze has really laid the hammer down over these last few laps, and has closed in quite a ways on the 91, but he's running out of time to do so as the leaders take the white flag. Blaze will be moving up to the Premier Division of FARC Racing next season, so he only has 2 races left to get his first career victory in this series, but it doesn't look like that's going to come today. Chase Eberhardt was simply too far ahead to be caught in time, and Eberhardt is going to take the victory at the Terre Haute Action Track. Congratulations to Eberhardt on the 2nd victory of his career. Hunter Blaze has to settle for the runner-up position yet again, although it is still a very good day for the Gravity Racing Incorporated team. Who knows where Blaze would have finished had the race been just a few laps longer. Mary Brousseau finishes in 3rd and makes Curtis Sawyers Racing the best finishing team of the hometown teams. Brousseau herself is from Michigan. Rachel Kowalczyk finishes in 4th and earns the High Climber Award after starting the race all the way back in 25th. Jason Miller is the highest finishing hometown driver in the field, as he rounds out the top 5. Brian Kelly has a very quiet but a very solid day, scoring a 6th place finish. Nick Moss has a great day of his own and finishes in 7th. Michael McKinley falls back to 8th. Ronald Way finishes in 9th, the teammate to Chase Eberhardt. And after a quiet but solid day of her own, Amberly Weiss rounds out the top 10. The next time that the AST Voltson Super Trucks will be in action will be for the final race of the season, the Voltson Marne 100 at Berlin Raceway in 2 weeks' time, where we will be crowning the champion for the 2016 season, and this year we have 8 drivers mathematically eligible to take home the title. That's more than each of the past 2 seasons combined, and they are led by Daryl Quick with 601 points. He has a 12-point lead over Brian Kelly. The 82 truck is going for its 3rd consecutive championship in the series. John Bennett is 25 points out of the lead in 3rd. Michael McKinley has a 29-point deficit. Kevin Thompson only 1 point behind McKinley and 30 points out of the lead. Wilson Timothy's 35 points back. And then a bit further down the standings, Camden Rhodes is behind by 52 points, and Hunter Blaze is behind by 57. It's going to be a very tall order for either Blaze or Rhodes to win the title, as they are both in a position where they must win the race in order to do so. But if we've learned anything from the past 2 seasons, it's that anything can happen, so don't count any of these drivers out. Quick may have won the past 2 titles, but it should be noted that he was not leading the championship while entering the finale in either of those seasons. There is no telling as to which of these drivers are going to earn the grand prize. The fight for the championship is sure to come down to the fall of the checkered flag at Berlin Raceway, but no matter how the results turn out, the race, undoubtedly, is sure to be a thriller.